Hi, are you looking for a weapon to destroy the king's pawn game or the queen's pawn game? In this video, I want to show you one unknown gambit that is going to surprise most of your opponents. If you are a regular viewer, you probably know this Fianchetto gambit. Now, I'm hoping my opponents will decline the gambit so that I can show you how to continue attacking even if they don't accept. Let's go. Okay, so I want to play the gambit that I showed you yesterday, beginning with pawn to g6. Yeah, there we have it. By the way, I'm playing this game in Zen mode, meaning I don't know my opponent. So the idea is to go pawn to f5, gambiting my pawn. Let's see. Okay, so you can see most people don't even take that pawn. But declining the gambit is not best according to Stockfish. That even makes things easier for me, because now I can go pawn to d5 if I want, over controlling the e4 square. But sticking to our plan, you have to go pawn to d6, playing in the Alekhine style so that you take the e5 pawn. In case of pawn to f4, that would be great. Yeah, let me go pawn to d6. I'm expecting to see, yep, pawn to f4, just like what we see in the Alekhine's defense. But you know, even against this, I can just take, cause if this, I'll take the queen. So white has to capture with his f pawn, I guess, and that's what I expect to see. Yep. So now I have an option to go pawn to e6, and you know what? After that, I'm going to play pawn to b6, and then plant my bishop on b7 to control the whole of this diagonal. So that's the plan. So first pawn to e6, and next b6 is coming. Though our main plan is to go a6, b5, bishop b7, then develop our king's knight on e7 to over control the d5 square, and later go pawn to h6, bishop g7. I mean, that's what I said in my last tutorial video. You better watch that. Very interesting video as well. And now, based on my opponent's previous moves, what do I think is his rating? What could be his rating? I predict somewhere around 2200, or maybe let's just say between 2200 and 2250. Yeah, for now, I will stick with that prediction. Let's see what else my opponent can do. Or maybe let's say, maybe somewhere between 2050 and 2100. God, what am I saying? I wanted to say 2200 and 2250. So knight to f3, I don't see any attack. White has no immediate checkmate, guys. You need to understand. By the way, I have all the time in this world to develop my king side pieces. I can always put my king on f7 for safety, so I'm not worried about that. So pawn to b6, bishop b7. That's the plan. The d5 square is well controlled, well monitored by my pieces. I saw this move coming, bishop g5, but I didn't even want to bother because I have bishop e7. If bishop takes, I'll simply take with my king's knight and I'll be safe. Not to mention that I still have bishop b7 on the plate. That's why I played b6. If bishop b5 check, I can even put my king on f7 with no problems at all. If bishop takes, I have knight takes on e7. Let's see what my opponent is going to do. And he's taking a bit of time here. Oh, by the way, this is a 3+2 blitz match. So there's an increment of 2 seconds. I don't know why my opponent is taking too long in the opening stage, which explains why Stockfish advises to take this gambit, to accept this gambit. Because if you think about it, this defense or this gambit is indeed uncommon to many people. h4 invites h6. If bishop takes, I'll take with my knight. So you can see, even though I'm improvising, I am still ensuring to stick to the main plan, like the h6 move that I just played, which I talked about in my yesterday's tutorial video. The only difference here is that I played pawn to b6 instead of a6 and b5, but this is also playable. And the fact that my opponent is taking too long to make a move, that should explain how difficult things can be for white after they decline the Fianchetto gambit. Yep, so they just helped me to develop my knight, which was doing nothing on g8. That explains it. So now I put my bishop on the most active square. I expect to see knight c3 or bishop d3, but knight c3. Okay, so this is what I was talking about now. In some positions, I can even take on f3, but in this case, I'm just going to castle my king here, protecting my e6 pawn. c3. This is a very terrible move. Could it be that maybe I'm playing against a 1500 or a 2000 or someone rated below 2000? Anyways, I'll stick to my first prediction. So I suspect my opponent is rated between 2200 and 2250, based on the moves that he's making. My rook doesn't need to move because black is gonna take. There is queen takes h6 right there. I guess c5 makes a lot of sense, but what am I attacking? Or maybe let me do this first with an intention to go knight f5, attacking the bishop. And just to give heads up, in the near future, I still have something like queen d7 and rook a d8. Yep. But I guess I still need to start with knight f5 first, attacking the bishop. So my opponent is probably gonna lose on time. I guess I was right with my prediction. So knight a3, knight f5, attacking the bishop. Then I can even go knight d5 now. Okay, the knight won't be doing anything there, but let me just develop my queen, bring my other rook into the game. There's nothing that is happening. c5 now is a possibility. Okay, so white castled long. Yep, now queen a4. I have this. Okay, king b1. I guess I gotta go bishop d5. I have queen takes a2 check. This should be a winning endgame for me. So you can see what I was talking about now is attacking my bishop. So this is it. Could this be the right time to go? Yep, I think so. So pawn to c5, knight takes. If white plays d takes c5, I'll simply go knight g4. Okay, there we see pawn to c4 first. It allows me to go, okay, first there we see pawn to a3 by white, but I'm thinking of going knight b3, or maybe retreat my knight. I don't know what to do next. Let's see. I don't know whether that is good or bad, but let me just retreat. Oh, my queen is gonna get trapped. Knight takes d3, queen takes d3, queen c6. Let's see. I was also low on time at the end. Okay, I anticipate this. Now we are both low on time, so I need to be very fast, but there's an increment, so I don't have to worry about time. I think that's what my opponent was also trying to communicate. I have this, by the way, and this. My opponent just hung the queen just like that. I mean, oh, okay. In fact, I was very close with my prediction. My opponent was a 22-27 rated player, so not that bad, but hanging the queen, I mean, I was probably going to say a 2000 rated player, but maybe my opponent is not very good in time trouble situations. But hey, it is what it is. I wasn't very far from the right prediction. So I just wanted to show you how to play the Fianchetto Gambit decline. And let's see if I have more time so that I can play one more game for the satisfaction of your eyeballs. And hey, remember to subscribe to this channel. We can't do without you guys. So don't just watch. Also remember to hit the like button and share this video if you can. Also follow me on Patreon. Right, so here's another game. Okay, there we see d4. Yeah, so against d4 you can also play this Fianchetto Gambit setup, hoping to see pawn to e4. Yep, so this is what I showed you guys in my yesterday's video. I said you can play this gambit either against e4 or d4, so it doesn't really matter. So my opponent started with d4, then I played g6, and intending to transpose back to the Fianchetto Gambit, which I don't expect them to decline. Otherwise, the game is going to be very complicated as well as cramped with not much space to attack. The plan is still the same, pawn to f5. If white takes, we don't take back due to mate in one. So you see what I was talking about. Most people don't even take on f5 because they don't know what the hell is happening. They don't know what is going on. So just to avoid some possible traps, they play e5 at times. But that's not an excuse. So just like what we do in the Alliance Gambit, against these kinds of pawn structures, you always want to start with pawn to d6 so that if pawn to f4 comes, you take that pawn and open up the center somehow. And this is what is happening right now. And for those of you who don't know what is happening here, I'm playing this match in Zen mode. So I decided to hide my opponent's rating and their name intentionally so that I don't get obstructed with anything. So So I just want to focus. So this is when you can go bishop g7. The idea is just to take, give it a chance, simple stuff. If white takes, I'll be happy to take with my c pawn, by the way. So let's see what my opponent is going to do. Bishop f4. So after bishop g7, there we see bishop f4, but I think I can just take, right? Just to simplify everything. And I'm expecting white to take with his bishop, yep. Because if they took with their pawn, I was just going to, you know, get the queen, make them lose their right to castle, and now bishop takes, expect knight takes, yep. So now I can safely develop my bishop on the most active square. There's no need to go pawn to e6, right? So bishop e6 makes a lot of sense. Just in this particular position, cause I mean the position is different from the main position that I showed you in our main plan. So you need to compromise, and that's what we call in chess the superseding concept. By the way, so far I can say my opponent is rated between 2000 and 2050 based on their opening moves that I have seen so far. But anyways, okay, there we see pawn to c3. Pawn to c3. I was expecting to see knight c3 though, so I don't know what that does, but I think now I can safely develop my queen's knight in an effort to exchange it with white's knight on e5. So ready to go knight to f6 after that trade happens. So I guess this is still fine. I mean, I'm not even down a pawn, by the way. I sacrificed my f pawn in the beginning, but white didn't take it. So there we see knight takes d7. Now I can take back with my queen. Given a chance, I would love to castle long. And now I guess I'm getting back into the game, which is the main purpose. So castle long, I don't even have any weakness. So the key in every gambit is to be quick in development. Next, knight f6 is coming. So there we see bishop c4 by white. And I guess I can just take that. What else can I do? I mean, do I even know how to play chess? So this is a positional mistake according to my eyeballs, because I can go queen c6 attacking two spots. And now it's official that maybe I was right with my prediction, or maybe my opponent could be rated below 2000. And here I have a positional advantage. I anticipate a move like knight e3, but that can be met with pawn to f4 anyways, and I'll get that free pawn given a chance. Because okay, there we see queen e2 by white. I don't believe in this, but let me just take the pawn. What else do I know? I mean, what else can I do? So there we see castle long by white. Now I can safely develop my king's knight, right? So knight to f6. I don't mind white taking my e6 pawn, my e7 pawn, because I can safely take the f2 pawn, right? Or probably just go in with my knight. I mean, lock this queen. This is coming anyways. I can take on f2 with my knight and double attack the rooks, though that will be hard. I can take this pawn given a chance. Yeah, so with this move, I'm just trying to, you know, lock white's queen in the cage. Let's see what white is going to do. But the whole idea is just to take the f2 pawn if white doesn't do anything meaningful. So there we see rook de1. Rook de1 can be met with, I think, rook he8, attacking the queen, because what else? I mean, so queen h4. Queen h4 now. Knight takes f2. If rook takes, I'm going to take. By the way, I have knight d3 check if white is not careful. So maybe they just have to take the rook. Okay, there we see a rook hg1. So knight d3 check. I'm going to win the rook. And king b1. So rook takes with check. So they have to take with the rook. After which, oh, by the way, there's a mate. There's a, oh no, there's no mate. There's no mate. Maybe let me try to chase this knight. Once the knight leaves, I'm gonna mate white. Yep, that's what I'm talking about. Bap, 1992. Okay, so I was pretty much close. My opponent is rated 1992. You know, I thought my opponent was rated below 2050. I said somewhere between 2000 and 2050, but it turns out my opponent is a 1992 rated player. Not so bad. I mean, 2000 is not far from 1992. Anyway, now what do you have to do? Subscribing to this channel, right? and also liking this video, because that's how you encourage me to keep on making more wonderful videos just like this one. Be sure to hit the like button and follow me on Patreon, which is my membership page where I post other premium content as well as other study materials. You can also check out my courses at www.casperchess.com, and peace out. Have a good day. Bye bye.